He is the director of the Boondocks Saints and a writer, director. He's an indie film darling and legendary story in the world of indie film. And he has a new book out that I just bought in audio form because, Alan, I'm kind of lazy like that.
Yes.
Let's welcome to the show, Troy Duffy.
Hey,
Troy. Long time no see, man.
I know.
Up front and center here. What's going on,
man? I remember the first time I did Film Threat. That kind of changed my world. You guys, you have no idea.
Really?
Oh,
you were on for like 4 hours. It's crazy.
Yeah, we certainly did have our conversations, but I mean, ultimately, I had never really done, a podcast like that. And I afterwards, I was like, wow, this is kind of where you guys kind of showed me like, this is where it's at right here, and then you got me on Nerdrotic. Chris, thank you for that. Met Gary for the first time. Beekler's the fucking best. And I learned today, I don't know if you're quite aware of this, Alan, I bet you are. Chris's rants are the stuff of legend. I actually think you should just make a whole bunch of
rants.
I know, we keep telling him that.
You know why? Because like what you're saying always gets me thinking, and I'm like, wow, and I want to say something, but I don't because I don't want it to end.
Well, yeah, we talked about doing edited videos. I don't know, my rants are kind of like they're inspired by whatever, and I'm usually ranting to a person. It'd be hard to do that solo. I'm not an actor. I'm not, I like to interact with people, but
you're not the only one to say that.
Oh,
yeah. But
you've been trying to get him to do it. Yeah.
But I'm so glad you and Gary connected because he's a huge fan, as am I, and what you've done in your story. And people can watch your original interview on our interviews channel. Look up Troy Duffy on Film Threat Interviews. That interview you just came on, you're going to be here. You were going to be there for like half an hour. You stayed on for like 2-3 hours. It was great. But the Boondocks Saints is a kind of movie that, I mean, God, I would say like, not only can Hollywood not make that movie, but it'd be an indie film that would be hard to get made. And I kind of feel like filmmakers like yourself or Tarantino, among others, could they like actually begin their careers in this modern time? The answer is I don't think they could. It's the space has been too infected by Gary and I had a whole discussion about how kind of women being in male spaces has kind of ruined things because we have to be nice or care about people's feelings. And as Alan can attest, I don't care about feelings at all. I don't care about anyone's. We have a job to do. And when you're on a film set, you got to get shit done. You're a taskmaster.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but I worry about like the up and coming, who will be the big filmmakers, who will be the Tarantinos, the Duffys of tomorrow. I don't know that if they have that kind of aspiration, they could do it now.
I think you're absolutely right. I don't think, I mean, we talked earlier about wokeness kind of seeping into everything.
Right.
From storytelling to television to films, and also what was a big surprise to me when doing my books. The literary side of things, now has sensitivity readers,
right?
And stuff like that. And it's what it is applying something completely wrong to something that's supposed to be pure. You're supposed to have a starting point, a midpoint, an end point to storytelling in any type of way. You can't start with the end. You can't say, well, we're doing a story about this or that. Well, this gay couple that does it. You have to be pure with it, right? So these days, no, I don't think guys like myself or Tarantino or Rodriguez or even Kevin Smith.
Yeah.
And imagine we were talking about that in the literary world too. We wouldn't have our great authors. Charles Bukowski wouldn't be published today, and Hunter S. Thompson. We wouldn't have these.
Those authors, Bukowski, I read in college, blew my mind.
Totally changed my life.
Talked about. He changed my life. Writers like Hunter S. Thompson and Bukowski, William S. Burroughs, they were radical. in a way that like they gave no fucks and they wrote about what they wanted. The problem is now you have gatekeepers, I hate to say, that mostly are, if they're not women, they're feminized men that give a fuck what people think. And I don't give a fuck. This is how I get myself in trouble, is I don't give a fuck, and I'll just say something random like make Marvel male again. Those 4 words, there were articles written about it. People, you pointed out, in the literary world, it's being gatekept by people that give a fuck. Stop giving a fuck. And what happens is, what I've seen is men just leave those spaces. Now, the market is still there. The market for the books, the movies, the TV shows, that market is there. But mostly men, what do men watch? They don't go to see modern movies. They watch sports. Sports, live sports is still, that's a male audience. No matter how many gay male cheerleaders they try to put on the Vikings, they still, sports is pretty much,
Yeah, but even that, dude, I mean, it's wrecked everything. There was a whole season during COVID that I didn't watch. You remember when they were taking a knee during the national anthem and Kaepernick and all that?
Yeah.
I didn't watch the whole season of football, and I almost didn't miss it. I was so pissed off with the whole thing. Yeah, it becomes about something that it's not supposed to be about. You can have the gayest kind of wokest idea laden with feminine. It can still be great. Like, one of the things I love is this show. You ever seen the show Euphoria?
No, I haven't seen it. Everybody says I should see it.
It's amazing. And it almost like, we'll say the poster or the premise, it seems woke. There's a trans person. It's freaking great storytelling and great writing. They did it. They did it, man. I mean, but I would not classify it as woke, even though it's got all the bells and whistles, man. Everything you're like, oh no, here we go. And it's just amazing. With the pen, you can do anything. If you are a real storyteller and you want to, and you're all about story and character and really penetrating and giving a good story with your brand new characters, you can do it. Like, here's a good question, you guys. Even though maybe guys like Tarantino and the guys we've talked about, the indie filmmakers, wouldn't probably be discovered today and wouldn't be allowed to do what they do. If they did make those films, would we still like them today?
Well, I think there'd be a market. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
there's a market. I agree.
If it's good, it's good.
There are gatekeepers in the HR department at all these companies. It's everything being too corporate, and it's well, real quick. I know, Alan, you have something to say. I don't want to cut you off, but I want to get one point. In the world of film festivals are dead. The Sundance Film Festival is dead. When there was this revolution, well, we got a program 50% movies by women, 50% by men. What that did was cut out a lot of great films made by men. And the movies that were made by women were getting programmed not because they were movies that were worthy to be in Sundance, but because of their identity or sexuality or whatever, some identifying mark, as a, what's that woman, Jean-Pierre, that she was the White House.
Karine Jean-Pierre.
It was like, starts every sentence with, well, as a queer black woman. Like, that's where festivals went. And then there are no significant movies coming out of festivals. We're not talking about movies that played Sundance last January now, because a lot of those movies were not great. Alan, sorry, I think you're about to say something.
Yeah, well, the question I have is, can we get to a point where independent creators can bypass Hollywood altogether, bypass the gatekeepers altogether? Can you make a movie if you could get the funding for it, and just make it and then put it into theaters, make a deal with AMC or Regal to?
That's the thing. Alan's funny. The Chris said something brilliant earlier today when we were with Gary, and he was like, in terms of wokeness in the business, the fever has broken.
Yeah.
It hasn't swung all the way back to where it needs to be, where it's like just, you know what's fun, you guys? Just watching movie submissions and based on the movie, see whether you're getting a goddamn film festival. That's the way they used to go with film festivals. They didn't really care who the director was. They just watched an independent film. Yeah, it's in Sundance. Go.
I really think that they should look at the movies, not know the name of the person, the identity, or the gender. Just program the best movies. There's a novel concept.
But what Alan was saying is kind of, I think that it's going to have to happen that way for a little while, right? And you're going to have brave people. I'm working with people right now. Like these guys kind of tracked me down and were like, "Hey, you made our favorite movie, then stop doing stuff. Where have you been?" These are guys with funding, they're producers and stuff, and they got some stuff going in southern Georgia here. So I'm gonna try to work with them on it, but I think the problem's deeper, Alan. I think that it is going to take some very good filmmakers and writers, some notable actors, some actors that are willing to go outside of Hollywood and work. Because remember, that's a danger too. And you're talking about celebrity famous actors. They're all repped by CAA, William Morris, Endeavor. They don't want them doing that. They don't want them going outside the fold, right? But you need great actors and, frankly, recognizable actors. Because what you're now asking an investor to do is invest in a whole bunch of new talent? That doesn't happen all that often. They need a return. So, yeah, there's a way. This is like literally my life right now. I'm talking to so many people about this. And what are the ways to do it? What are the ways to maybe get outside the industry, but also a little inside of it? What are the ways to say, because right now, here's one of the things that's happening with actors. This is happening to so many people I know. Celebrity actors, right? Only the big tent poles are being made. They're not doing so great. So there's only a few jobs. Now, these very, famous celebrity actors are starting to lose their houses. They're not making money. They're worried, right? And if a place can be provided where they can go do some other stuff, some of our mid-levels and indies, right? All the ones that everybody used to, shout at for Oscars during Oscar season. It was always the indie, right? From I'd say the 90s to the mid 2000s. I think the last one I remember them doing a big push for. Do you guys remember the movie Precious?
Yes. Yeah.
And I thought it was wonderful. And then, of course, like right after I watched Precious, I was like, okay, who made this? What happened here? You find out that every single person took a pay cut. Everyone took haircuts. Everyone gave up and came down to do something because they believed in it, And it was just so good. And it's good sometimes when people do that. But there is also the fact that most movies that are made, including indies, fucking suck, right?
Yeah, they do.
We're talking about the 1 or 2% are the ones we love, the Pulp Fictions, the Reservoir Dogs, anything Kevin Smith did, Clerks and stuff like that. These are the 1%ers. So we would somehow, Alan, have to devise those types of filmmakers, get them wrapped into something and be able to rethink distribution, because they're just not even the few scant ones getting made don't get backed and distributed. I had a filmmaker friend of mine I was talking to yesterday. He's on the phone with a billionaire investor guy, and the guy's like, "Well, why should I invest in your movie? I can put it in the S&P and make 12% of my money."
Right.
And he goes, "Well, we could do this." Well, there's no distribution. You just said you made 4 independent films. They're all in the can and they're not getting distributed anywhere. So where's he was like a real kind of a dick, but he made the guy realize, Jesus, it's worse than I thought. Even people that kind of want to get into this business and want to make movies almost know from the very beginning, they're just going to lose all their money.
Well,
that's a problem too.
I used to think that all the filmmakers going to Sundance were just like Kevin Smith. They were guys that worked their ass off. Kevin sold his comic collection, charged up credit cards, and made a movie. That's like the 1% of people that are at Sundance. It's mostly the sons. It's Nepo babies, the sons and daughters of the rich elites that get into the festival, and I call it art welfare. They get money from their family to make a movie that doesn't need to make money, and not only that, they don't need to get paid while they make their movie. I mean, me, I gotta work. I've always had to work my whole life. I've made films, but man, it's hard for me to take time out to go make a film because I gotta hustle to make a living. So I'm not like these. And again, my last manager years ago, like more than a decade ago, said, you don't want to get involved in movies. That's a hobby for the rich. Yeah. And I'm not rich. Hey, we gotta, I don't want to forget to talk about your book, Blood Origins, the Boondocks Saints, Volume 1. It's what'd you call it? A requel, a prequel?
Yeah, I just found out that word yesterday. I was talking to some dude and I explained what it was. And he goes, oh, it's a requel. I'm like, all right, these newfangled modern industry terms. What are you trying to make requel happen? Found out it was a thing. And what happens is with Boondocks Saints, with Blood Origin, I wanted to tell kind of, I love prequels, right? I wanted to tell the origin story. But then, like say a quarter of the way through the book, the brothers arrive in Boston, which really does feel like the beginning of Boondock 1. Now, it's a different story with certain story elements of the movie woven into it here and there that have been re-engineered and rethought so a fan can even experience them anew, right? Like I know what's coming. I can sense. I know Boondock really well. The toilet scene's coming, right? But I've changed up the whole thing so the fan gets a new experience. So what requels are, I guess, is where they start as an origin story, and then it kind of catches up with the present day story, but then it kind of goes in its own direction. Because one of the things I always wanted to do with Boondock was because all the questions the fans have, these fans know this shit inside and out. They have a drinking game where they literally hit play and they say all the dialogue. The first guy to screw up drinks, it's nuts, right? They know everything. So what I wanted to do, the idea here is like two brothers don't move here from foreign lands and live as illegals and, just start killing bad guys. That's kind of the way we had it set up in the movie, but you can pull that shit in a movie. In the book, I wanted to show how they were kind of lured into the dark world of vigilantism, and almost this, all right, we're going to do this one thing and then we're never going to talk about it again. We're back to our lives. And they just kind of keep getting sucked back in, And so I wanted to show the footsteps, almost this minefield of obstacles that we take them through, spiritual questions, emotional, logistical questions. I wanted them to, like most brothers, disagree about everything. I wanted to expose all the differences between Connor and Murphy, as well as more similarities. Maybe give the fans more questions. But over the years, they've asked me so many questions, I built up these answers. So the whole kind of story played out, when I began writing, it was a pretty intimidating process because I look at the author, even the authors we've talked about, these are the giants, man, it's like you do a script. Okay. But that's real regular people don't read scripts, they read books.
Well, not only that, the book I bought the audiobook this morning. So, I'm well listened. I like audiobooks. I'm sorry. And you read it. And also Gary Beekler read some of it. Yeah.
Beekler did a voice for me in there. And I love the audiobooks too, and I also love when the author or the person that experienced that thing, like a guy sailed around the world and got in trouble a bunch of times and almost died. I want to hear that dude, talking to me about it, right? So I decided to I'd narrate the audiobook myself. It ended up being almost 18 hours, which is over double the size of your normal audiobook. Yeah. But it's the same price. I wanted to give the fans more bang for their buck. And I don't know why I didn't think of this, but it's been like a quarter century. They've gotten 2 movies, a little less than 4 hours of entertainment in 25 years. And I just dropped a whole bunch of, 18 hours of Boondock on them without really telling them I was doing it.
Well, let's look at the trailer for the
great.
movie right now.
Great.
Watch it.
It's all going to shit.
The gangs are fighting a war.
Falling down.
Gang rape, by sex abuse allegations.
Crumbling around us.
13 shots.
Nobody knows what to do about it.
We killed someone. Me and my brother. And shepherds we shall be. For thee, my Lord, shall flow a river forth to Santi. They're breathing our air. Same air all these working families breathe. Same air their kids breathe.
Killed a man and you fucking liked it.
Forgive me, Father. But not for this. You're from American dream. Look at this shite. It's all around us. Stick your hands in your pockets and stroll on like it's not even that right in front of our eyes.
The Saints do not have permission from God.
It's wrong. What we're doing.
Thou shalt not kill, but you have beaten, bludgeoned, and impaled the heart of Christ. So watch those barbarous hands in his blood. Stand quaking in terror before his avenging angel.
You have to be the full armor of God.
God is dead. And you have killed him.
And you can go to boondocksaints.com and get the book now. Dude, that trailer, I want to see that movie.
I know that's a pretty elaborate trailer for
No, I love it. Actually, book trailers have been around for a long time. I actually really like it. So,
Yeah, I watched a few of them. I thought it was a new thing, but I was like, hell, we can do that.
Yeah.
And books available as an ebook or an audio book on Amazon and Audible. And I wanted to give fans that experience, man. All those questions they've had, some of them are so specific that you would wonder why the hell they want to know about that, things that don't even make any sense to me. We were talking today. One of the questions was how'd they meet Rocco? To which why would you even think that? Why would you be concerned about that? So they would, and I remember too. I remember loving movie characters, like some of the first movie characters that I loved and hit me hard, real young, real fun, but Smokey and the Bandit, say. I never was like, how was Smokey's relationship with his dad?
Right.
I never thought about any of that stuff, but with Boondock, these kids take it so personally, they do. So I wanted to give like a longer, deeper journey to the fan. It's kind of a love letter to the fans at the end of the day. I mean, you don't have to know Boondock to see. Criminal crime thriller readers will like it too. But I was really concerned about what the fans were going to think, and I still am. We had a round table the other day. I got a bunch of fans, early copies, and they all loved it. It hit right where I wanted it to. But yeah, it's available now, guys. And, I've kind of I dropped the mic on this one.
You know what it is? Great movies pull you into the world so much so that you want to know these little details. You want to know how people have met in the past. You draw them in and they want to live in this world you created.
We've got over 2,000 people watching live right now. You can go to boondocksaints.com, get the book, go to Amazon or Audible and pick it up. But let's go through these questions from the top. I'll pop around, Alan. Here we go.
Yeah, from Robert Kearney for 199. Hail Troy, Alan, and Chris.
Nice.
Hail back, Robert.
All right.
And Jason Allen joined as a new member. Thank you. Check out the members only videos. Appreciate it, Jason. Here we go. Benjamin.
All right, Benjamin 499. Troy, my cat is wondering if any of his brethren will be harmed this time around. He's not over the last time.
I'm sorry for psychologically damaging your cat, Benjamin. It might be interesting to know that I now have 2 cats, 2 accidental cats. And now that, they've become my little precious. So I can't promise that it's not going to happen.
No one is safe.
But we're okay for volume 1. We are getting into much deeper issues, but yeah, they're still like really funny. You know what I tried to do? I tried to take the cat thing was one of those things where it just like out of the blue funny, might have been a little kind of homage to Tarantino. I remember when the guy got shot in the back of the car because he went over a speed bump. There was like things in there. There was things in there where we were having a lot of fun. But what I tried to do with Boondock is take the humor in it, take the action in it, take all the great little snappy dialogue, the one-liners, all the things the fans like about it, and just push them up to the next level. So we will see some funny-esque things like that. I'm just going to give you new ones. So your cat's fine for now.
Oliver Laveri Farag for 499. Remember the rule to making a small fortune in Hollywood? Start with a large fortune.
Thanks, Oliver. That was great. That's true.
Rated M for 199. Troy, check out Primitive War. Think it's up your alley.
You know what? You guys are giving me all.
Okay, Primitive War. You need to see.
Okay, what is it?
Filmmaker Luke Spark. It's Primitive War. It's like a giraffe. It's dinosaurs versus American soldiers in Vietnam.
Oh fuck yeah! Where can I see it?
It's out on VOD. Primitive War. Yeah. Look it up. It's based on a book. It's what the Jurassic Park movie should have been. It's made by an indie filmmaker. It's an indie movie.
Yeah, it's an indie filmmaker who had to find his own distribution for his film.
Oh my God! You know what? You guys have given. Look at this list of things you got. Today we were talking about all kinds of. I got a list of movies I got to get to. But from Primitive War, I'm on it, man. That actually sounds pretty good. It's a good premise.
Yeah, Matthew Ham for 2. Do writers, directors, and actors realize that they are near terminal? They're in a near terminal industry when they need to fake little pay for the possibility of back end pay to revive it.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I think the industry, it's a couple years from rebounding if it does, and there may be a strike next year. There may actually be a WGA strike. That's how bad things are.
Yeah, well, that'll solve everything. That's so depressing. Go on a rant, Chris.
Yes.
I want a Gore rant about that. That is like the number one thing you don't do, because he's right. Actors are scared, I know so many celebrity actors, and they're all telling me the same thing. There's just if they're just making the tent poles and a couple of woke TV shows, there's only so many roles. Guys that are huge, that are recognizable actors, are in threat of not making their mortgages and stuff. They're all getting scared, and they know that there's things out there, if we could just kind of get over ourselves. It's like a guy that, take a guy that had a $2 million quote for, say, a full 6 to 8 weeks of his time. Maybe that's this actor's quote. Just pick an actor in your head. You know the guy. That guy, he's in everything. And what if he's not getting that right now? They're not making that level film. He is not getting that offer, right? So he goes a whole year without working. You're going to tell me if he, gets to go do this over here for 1 week for 35, 50 grand, like that's going to be a problem? That guy wants, they actually want to do stuff. They want to go do cool stuff. And that's what we're talking about in the indie world. Indie films are the cool kids in school. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They are the cool kids. Everybody wants the indie films, and actors want to be in them, and they'll just have to take a haircut, get paid less in order to continue to be working. That's definitely an aspect of the first question Alan asks, It's definitely an aspect. Everybody's going to have to kind of get real a little bit and understand that there just not that many roles now, and a whole bunch of actors are acting like they're still rich when they're not, And there's a whole bunch of agents that really don't care because they're taking a little bit of everybody. They got 100. They're taking a little bit of everybody's pie. They're doing fine. And well, probably not as fine as they were doing in the past, but yeah, I think maybe like that. Like we've been, I've been talking with some actors and some producers and studio guys about forming something. You know, trying to do something.
Well, like Eli Roth, Robert Rodriguez, they've all started their own studios, and they kind of put out what the projects are, and they ask an audience, "Do you want to see this movie?" So I think things will. I think because of AI, there is going to be a revolution in indie film in the next 5 years, as you see the output from traditional Hollywood sunset. You'll see the rise of indie film, where with the utilization of AI, you'll see an indie movie that will compete with a studio Hollywood movie. That's why you need to see Primitive War. That movie is better than the last Jurassic Park movie.
How did they get the dinosaurs?
He did it in Australia.
It's all CG, yeah.
It's all CG. He did it in Australia, and there. Look, AI is gonna be like this supercharged thing where like an indie filmmaker from Ohio will be able to make a Star Wars level movie. We got so many questions. Let's try to get to as many as we can.
All right. The rogue attraction, Troy Duffy for Professor X. He's already got the right hair.
Fuck yeah.
ADL is 24. How liberating has it been focusing your creative talents on the literary medium and the freedom such crafts allow? Will you be doing the vocals for the audiobook version?
Yeah, I did the whole audiobook myself. There's just like 2 other voices in there that come in momentarily, but I did it all myself. And how liberating is it? Adele, A.D. Ellis? Is that what it is? Freedom! It's total fucking freedom. I couldn't believe it. I mean, not having to deal with the trappings of the business and producers asking you, will they get it? You know, maybe we should change the name. Nobody knows what Boondocks Saint is. You know, and actors and lawyers and all this stuff and the money in the business. It's just me. It's just me and a computer screen. I'm just letting my fingers dance, man. It was the most liberating thing ever. And to the point where I was like, why the hell haven't I done this before? You know, it must be like when you guys really started catching your podcast, you know, really started going like, wow, could have been doing this.
When you get in the zone.
Oh,
I like this question or this comment.
All right, caveat ties myers for 17 months. While in the Army, soldiers loved Boondocks Saints.
Oh yeah, you know, we had we went and did a USO tour, me and Sean and Norm and a couple of the other guys from Boondock, and man, those kids freaking loved us. It was they said, you know, their top 3 were like Full Metal Jacket, Platoon, and Boondock Saints, which I was like, all right, well, we're not really a war movie, but okay, I'll take it. These guys were wearing they had rosaries they ordered from the site underneath their flak jackets, you know, and then thinking they were being protected by God and shit. It was just so they had the tattoos and crazy shit. We ran into so many good guys, and there was you know, it's made it into other people's books. There have been like books written about, you know, like military guys going off on combat missions, the famous combat missions where a whole bunch of bad shit happened. And Boondock is mentioned there. There was this one unit that recited the prayer together before they went into combat every time, and they didn't lose a man. You know, so there's a huge attachment to the military here that we didn't see coming. We didn't see the college thing coming or the military thing coming, but immediately loved them both. But military, yes, special place in my heart, man. We stayed in these they put us up in these like, you know, what are those canisters that people live in, like they're the back of semi trucks. What the fuck are those things called? Like transportation canisters. People are making houses out of them these days.
Oh yeah, what are the? I know what you're saying.
Yeah, cargo, like shipping containers.
Yeah.
That's
They were
it.
shipping containers, and they had like, oh God, we had the best time, man. We had the best time. Those guys had a little bar on base, and you had to kind of sneak back there, but you know, they showed us some stuff they probably shouldn't have. But we
I
had
think
some
it's
shit
incredible.
going down in Djibouti, Africa, baby.
I think it's incredible that Boondocks saves lives.
Here's a good question.
Davina Duckworth, one real question for Troy. Do any toilets get used as weapons?
Yeah, kind of a spoiler alert, but fuck it. What I've tried to do with Boondock is, I mean, you imagine it's a double length book, just like it's a double length audio book, the electronic book, the text that I wrote before we recorded the audio book and is available as an ebook. This is what I tried to do was the toilet scenes in there, and what happens is a fan knows it's coming. Right? These guys bust in. The brothers just woke up. This is going to be the freaking toilet scene, right? You know it's coming. What happens is I've re-engineered the whole thing. There are different guys that bust in there for different reasons. The whole thing goes a little bit different. You get the meat of it. You get your thing that you love. But then there's a whole different outcome and a whole bunch of wake from that incident that's created. So what I tried to do basically was re-engineer the iconic scenes that fans know and love so that they get their nostalgic experience, but a new one on top of it, right? So in re-engineering and rethinking some of those things is when it was almost like one of the things I remember where I was and what I was doing when I was writing Boondocks Saints just by myself, and no fans, nothing got made yet, nobody had read it. And I was writing it, and I thought one day, what if we did the crime scene investigation by the cops first, then show the brothers do it in flashback? And I thought I got really excited about that idea. Now, I didn't really get to it until I was on the door that night at Sloan's, and I had my little notebook, and I'm gone. And I start realizing how much we're getting from this. All the cops have a couple questions that can't be answered, but then when the brothers do it, the audience gets its answer, right? So we got a whole bunch of credit for nonlinear storytelling from that. And what I really did was it was an homage to Quentin Tarantino. When he did with Tim Roth, you remember the scenes in Reservoir Dogs where he's talking about the story that he's going to use with his handler. Then they're in the bathroom with the dogs barking. He's got drugs on him, the cops, and he keeps telling the story. Then it's ultimately at the table with the gangsters. You know, that was one of those things where I went, all right, nonlinear storytelling it's not just narrative connecting A to B because a writer or a filmmaker is lazy. You know, oh shit, we got to go back and tell them this now. Let's have a flashback. I realized nonlinear storytelling could be just as exciting, right? So what I did was my version of what Tarantino did. I didn't directly copy him. I took a narrow focus thing and did a nonlinear bit of storytelling, and the fans fucking loved it. What we've done in the book here now is a new kind of that idea, the idea of re-engineering things you know and love so that a fan can experience not just the nostalgic, but a brand new version of it.
And also nonlinear, Quentin has talked about, that was a device, nonlinear storytelling, mostly used in novels. He kind of got the idea from novels. It's not like Tarantino did it the first time in movies, but he used it so effectively, and it was so simple yet brilliant that it was like a revelation.
Yeah, he did it in a different way. Exactly. That's why when I steal from people, I admit it. I stole that. I just didn't rob a motherfucker. I paid homage to him by doing it my own way, pushing it in my own direction, but taking his initial, teachings. I almost look at it like a professor or something. You learn from watching films. And one of the things I learned from Reservoir and those scenes was like, oh, wow, nonlinear storytelling doesn't just have to connect A to B so that we can move on with C.
Right.
You know, it can now be super interesting in its own right. So I just kind of had the creative idea to do it my way.
I hate to say it, but I don't think people nowadays get excited about telling stories like you are right now.
Yeah.
You know what? It's funny because people like us all get excited about watching good stories.
Mm-hmm.
True.
I mean, it's fucking Gore. You go see a movie every single day.
Yeah, pretty much.
How many do you
In a
forget?
theater.
I mean,
going tonight. So I mean, Frankenstein.
What would you say? Let me ask you a question. What would you say was what are the percentage of real good movies of all the movies you say? What do you think? What chunk are really special?
3%
these days. 3%. Yeah, like a single-digit percent.
Wow. See, it used to be better, huh? Used to be better.
Yeah. It used to be better for sure. Hey, Blake B wants to know what you're drinking.
Yeah, what is that?
This is coffee, like iced coffee.
Sweet. Love it.
In a mason jar.
But I will be having a beer later on. I remember I snuck a beer. I tried to sneak a beer on with you guys last time, and you caught me.
You don't need to
sneak. We've had people get drunk on this live stream.
Oh my god, we should do a drunk cast.
Drunk cast.
Yeah, we'll start with a drunken rant from Gore. That would be funny.
I can do that. I can deliver.
Some of our Oscar live streams have great drunken.
We get drunk during the Oscars.
Yeah. LFC fan Troy, if you're only a writer, would you turn your passion script into a self-published book or comic to find readers first, or share it with the traditional channels, including online?
All right, hang on, guys. I'm gonna see if I might have a problem here.
Well, I mean, LFC fan, he wrote a book. It's out now and self-published.
Right, but if you're starting out, would you start writing?
If you're starting out, what do you think on that?
Hang on for a second, guys.
All right.
I don't want to get shut off on you. It's telling me that.
Oh no, we may have to end this early. Uh-oh. Let's see. I'm gonna go through some of these. Wait, this is a question for me. 2 Cents says, Chris, you need to start yourself saying as a normal sexual male.
I just bought the mug for that.
You did? I'm gonna buy that.
Yeah.
I tell everyone, because everyone's all about, well, I'm an indigenous I'm this. It's like, I'm a genderqueer. It's like, I just say I'm a normal sexual. So, oh no, we can't hear you.
Your audio's off.
You're muted. Your audio's out. Your audio's out. Your Shure mic. Oh my God, you have a Shure mic.
Are you on mute or?
Yeah. Wait, I don't get this question.
Or did the switch on your mic go off? Maybe.
They use
hear me? There you go.
All right. Yeah, I was on mute for some reason.
Cool. All right. Let's get here we go.
Yeah, Troy, if you're only a writer, would you turn your passion script into a self-published book or comic to find readers first, or share it through traditional channels?
Yeah.
So this is a writer who has
advice. Advice for
if you're only a writer. So like take the directing thing out of it. What would I do as a writer? Yeah, I'd probably try to go book first. And or graphic novel if it's that kind of thing, if it can sustain a graphic novel, I'd probably do that first. Yeah, because the traditional route is too tough these days, man. Like we've been talking, I don't even think the guys that we love, the independent filmmakers that we love, wouldn't get a chance today.
Yeah. What's interesting, though, we were at a Netflix event, and Netflix is not greenlighting a lot of projects like they used to. They're buying already made films.
Yeah, which is also that's one of the problems with indies, because what happens is, oh God.
There you go. It's all good. Most people are listening anyways. They're not watching.
Damn it.
It's all good.
So the one of the problems we discovered going through this is there are people, they almost seem like even within the outside industry of indie filmmaking, there are billionaires that will give you the money and invest in this and get these things made. But the part that really sucks is that they present them to the streamers, and sometimes the streamers don't want them. And sometimes it's for woke bullshit. Oh, it's just too, it's not woke enough. So they spent all this money, and the distribution centers have slimmed out and changed. I mean, it's like if you don't sell it to Netflix, what the hell are you going to do then? You know, what's
Okay. More questions.
All right, ADLS24. Going back into Boondocks world in a literary medium, do you see the series as something that could continue as long as you have new ideas, or is there a finite conclusion you're writing towards?
It can continue for quite a while, you know. Like I said, over the years, it's been 25 years. If I didn't have more than volume 1 in me, I'd be an idiot by now. All these fan questions and all thinking about all this story, you know, like even at the end of volume 1, Connor and Murphy don't have the full get-ups yet with the assassin gloves and all their tats. We're going to see, like, think about it like this. Almost each season is when you're going to see a new tattoo, and you're going to know what that is about. This is a rite of passage, something they did that was hard and bloody and merciless. And they get that the tats mean something. Each one's a ladder, a rung in the ladder of their evolution. We want to see how Connor and Murphy deal with it. I mean, just take the simple question, what does it feel like to kill a man? All right, not many of us know about that. I mean, I'd say a lot of our military guys do. But what would happen if a brother that he believes, has faith, kills a man? Is he just going to roll off his back? What if he goes into a downward spiral, a spiritual crisis, starts losing weight, you know, can't eat, can't sleep, can't focus, and his brother's like, I need you. You got to come back to me. We're all we have here, you know? Those types of things are the things we want to dive into with Boondock, the real stuff, because, you know, we've seen too many movies where they kill the guard in order to get inside and get at the, you know, the real gangsters. And half the time when I was a kid, I was thinking, what the fuck did the guard do? You know, the guy's probably got a wife and kids and shit, works for a shitty salary, probably hates this guy, you know, hates his boss. So it's not nonchalant. The brothers, one of the attractive things and why a lot of people take Boondock so seriously, personally will say, is because they like the brothers. The brothers don't take this shit lightly. You know, that sort of Catholic ritual they use, the belief system, the prayer of execution that they have. These are things that fans look at as a deep belief and a serious one. They may be the funniest motherfuckers on the planet. They may do some fucked up shit. You may laugh your ass off, but when it comes to that, that's where they get serious. And I think the fans are too. For some reason, the brothers' mission was embraced by the fans, you know, and the way they do it, where it's not, they're not playing around with this. It's something the fans like. So yeah, we take, again, that's another thing we take to the next level when wherever we can in a book where you have sort of all the time in the world. You can say what people are thinking. You can dive into all these things, but we also do it. Here's another, you know what? YouTube make me do spoilers all the time. I don't even know what, get me talking about shit. Here's another one. Here's another spoiler. We do deep dives into the evil guys that they kill, right? We go back into their histories and find out some of how they are, why they are how they are. You know, when I'm playing in that gray area, I'm risking giving the reader or the listener sympathy for a truly bad person, or at least some, like, you know, even asking themselves the question, what would I have done? You know, could I have survived that? Would I not have turned into a bad guy with that type of abuse in my childhood or young adulthood? So we delve into virtually every character. The brothers much deeper, Rocco much deeper. We're adding something to Rocco's personality that a fan that got an advanced copy, and we did a roundtable that she pointed out, and it was like, there's all this new stuff about Rocco. Yeah, he's, you know, how we know him and love him, but you did this with him too, and nobody's expecting it. And that's one of the things I love the most, showing new facets of the old characters you know and love.
A few more questions here. Let's get to. There's some fun ones, but a lot of comments too. from Joe
Yes.
Pat 87. Oh, sorry, Alan.
Yeah, Joe Pat 87 for 199 are, and far too many movies end up disposable.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Watch and forget it. ADLS 24. If you were casting for the original Boondock Saints today, who would you have in mind for the McManus brothers, Detective Schmecker, and Lil Deuce?
Okay.
Lil Duke.
That's an interesting one. You know, back in the day, one of the things I decided at some point during the casting process was, I wanted no names. Nobody knew who Norman, Sean, and Rocco were. So I sort of took the gamble, and my thinking was, all right, well, we have a marquee player like Defoe, Elias, and Platoon and shit. They and Billy, who had been nominated for an Oscar for Mrs. Brown, and I loved him for that. So I was like, all right, we got some celebrity actors in there, but I want 3 no names here for my top 3 cast guys, right? So that was the thinking back then. I'm suspecting AD is asking me, like, if I had my pick of the litter today, of famous people. One of the guys I loved for Schmecker was Jim Carrey. I believe Jim Carrey is an amazing dramatic actor. And there was just enough funny in there, but Schmecker wasn't necessarily what you'd consider a funny character. His kind of humor came from organically within the scene. He's messing with cops because he gets to know them and stuff like that. But a pretty serious character. So I look at Jim Carrey for that. Il Duce. There's an actor I freaking love. Oh God, we were dealing with this all day today, Gore. Who's the guy in Game of Thrones who's the pirate?
Oh,
you know the guy I'm talking about?
I can picture the face, but I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I love.
If Gary were here, he'd not know it either.
Yeah, I know. Well, we did that like 5 times today. I like him for Duce. And it sounds strange, but guys like, God, I hate that I blank on names. I would pay money to be able to remember everyone's name. All right, who's the guy in Big Lebowski who's like the Texas drawl cowboy at the bar, super famous? Suit yourself, dude.
Oh yeah, I know who you're talking about. I don't know that. I can't remember.
Jesus Christ, man. We are having the worst day with this.
We are.
I'm going to put together me, you, and Beekler and X-Ray Girl and this podcast. We're just going to put together all the times this has happened today.
Yeah, like 5 times.
Sam.
Yes. I know his first name is Sam.
Whatever. That guy for Duce, if he could, he doesn't really have to do much talking, but so yeah, I love actors that look like that, sort of godlike looking actors. For the brothers, there are some youngsters out here that are doing it. I think there's a kid I really liked the other day when I saw this. I saw a television show about this kid. It was almost like I forget the name of it, of course. Noah something.
Oh, Noah. I want to say Schnapper.
He was in like
Stranger Things or
Noah Centineo. Oh my God! Look at that. I would have bet against me on that one. Noah Centineo. I like the cut of this guy's jib. He's doing like a couple TV shows, getting a little bit of recognition. He's got kind of the 2 things. He can do super serious and good and hard, and he can be vulnerable. So I like Noah Centineo. The other one, you know what I'd probably do? I'd probably look for a no name to go up against a name. That's what I'd probably do. The reason I wanted the no names back in the day was because, there was a little bit of a trend back then. I don't know if you guys remember this, but like big time actors were coming down and doing little indies to kind of retain their street cred.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes it worked. You got to give it to them. But sometimes I was just like, come on, let some Let some newbies spread their wings a little bit. I mean, part of Hollywood, you're supposed to discover new talent. You're supposed to give us the film stars and action stars of tomorrow. So I would probably save a slot for him. Long answer, AD. Sorry.
By the way, the chat is saying Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott! Oh! We're bad. Another question from Matthew Hammond on Rumble for 2.
Yeah, how do you avoid the problem people run into when creating prequels?
The problems people run into. I think I avoided it because I always kind of just thought about it and fans asked about it. I was able to just put it all together in my head. It's like before I started writing, I was so intimidated to be like an actual author. I didn't do this for years and years. Then I just kind of came up with my first sentence, just one random day. And it was, talk, you little shite. That's the first sentence. And then it just all started going from there. And it's because I already had the story in there. So, I mean, I guess in terms of, you could ask the question a little bit differently. Like, how do you create a prequel when you've already kind of started them as young adults and gone beyond, you know? And all I thought of was, wow, wouldn't it be fun to have them getting arrested in their early 13-year-old brothers, and you don't know what the fuck they did, but it was something and it was bad. And you're just thinking, how bad could it be? They're 13. So in answering those questions and getting into that, it helped me avoid, I think, a lot of pitfalls. But the material itself and the characters itself were just strong enough to begin with. So just making them even better and going into letting people see their mom, for instance. Mom wasn't in either of the films. She plays a hefty role in this. And I'm not going to give you a spoiler alert on her, but she becomes a lot more than you think. Their mom is Annabelle McManus. They call her Ma Bell, and she's their whole life. They love their mom more than anything. She loves her boys more than anything. But it's one of the fans at the round table said, once you know Ma Bell, you kind of go, yeah, that makes sense. I now know Connor and Murphy a little bit better, you know.
Another question here. Probably end with this question.
Yeah, ADLS, have you spoken to other directors who have directed cult classic films who struggled to get future projects greenlit, like Richard Kelly, Elias Marriage, and Tony Kaye? Or
Tony Kaye. He did American History X, right?
I
think so.
Yeah,
Tony Kaye?
This is a recurring issue of, and you've heard of like director jail, where you make one movie that tanks, then you're not going to make a movie for years. But yeah, have you spoken to other directors who like are just having problems getting like movies for men made?
Yeah, Carnahan. Joe Carnahan is.
I love Joe.
He's one of my faves, right? We met one night and we had like a sort of, you know, we were both such fans of each other, you know, but he's been able to move on, do over and over. And, you know, I didn't get to kind of pick his brain on how he's doing that, but he's a worker, man. He gets that shit done. He makes a movie a year easy. And there are other people that don't. And, you know, like there's guys in director's jail for making the bad movie. I think I was more like in the director's insane asylum for making a good one. You know, that's what happened with that. All that stuff with that documentary and Overnight, they were like, wow, this guy's like a maniac and he's crazy. And but wow, the movie was good, but our clients might be afraid to work with him. It was all nonsense. But yeah, so because of the cult nature and all the, you know, the exposed history of Boondock, it's not. I myself don't know whether I've, you know, been in jail or a sane asylum or kind of checked out of it myself. And lately, yeah, I have met some great filmmakers, financiers, and producers that have built the studio. It's like a chunk of the backlot of Paramount in Athens, Georgia. And I'm going to start doing some things now. But how hard it is in terms of being in terms of indie guys getting things made or being thrown in indie jail. I don't know. I think maybe some guys like Carnahan have that figured out, right?
Yeah.
And guys like me, maybe just, you know, don't.
I think the indie way, I prefer, and this is what in projects I've done, I've worked for big companies, but I prefer indie because it's when you are in control of your own destiny.
Yeah.
You are in control. So we're gonna wrap it up there because sorry, Troy, we gotta wrap up the show, but want to remind people, go to boondocksaints.com. Troy will be on again at some point in the future. We'll have a topic. We'll bring you in on a topic.
Yeah, I mean, everything we've been talking about today, I'm right in the heart of that now. We should talk more, and I think that we're probably going to have a couple of more guys you can talk to, because it's almost like if something happened, to podcasts that was affecting you and it sucked, I know that we'd be having this conversation the other way. You'd be going, we got to do what we can do to help this. So those questions are the majority of my day now. Conversations with so many people. I just had a long conversation with a dude that cares so much, and he has such a high position in the business. Not our business, but like he works for Tesla, and is like one of the top dudes there in this particular way that he works. He's not like like one of the scientists. But he cares about it too. We're starting to have conversations with people and trying to figure out how we're going to attack this. Because really the whole thing is, I want to make more independent films right now. The whole thing just got reawakened in me over the last couple of months of having these conversations. And it's because we're getting scared. All of us are.
I think it's cultivate the audience. Your audience can pre-order what it is. Your audience is already there. Count out, what do they want to see? You've got the book and then the audio book. Now what's next?
Yeah, and go with things like that, audio books and electronic books and regular books. I can't wait to get to decide on a cover. But there's also an aspect of it that seems like, because it's distribution. There has to be a way to develop a fan base first that anticipates the film. And one of the ideas we came up with is, what about sort of live from set, setting up a couple cameras like on the craft service table, listening to conversations, interviewing each other. Like, all right, well, how do you think those scenes went today? And letting people in on the story bit by bit. And have it be with exciting people, legit filmmakers, famous actors, all the way, almost like the making of live before the movie comes out. Then, I don't know, there's got to be a way to do that cultivates an audience for you where they just want to see it,
But am I wrong? But is distribution the final egg to crack?
It is an egg to crack. It's like there's massive problems all along the way. And we were talking about this earlier, Chris. There's problems with the audience too. We're not innocent. We're all used to 3-minute social media things. Our attention span is getting shorter. A lot of us don't go to movie theaters anymore. We've kind of given up on the process because we've seen so many shitty movies. We're starting to gravitate away from that. And so, you take some really good indies and just punch people in the face with them right now, you're going to start seeing some change. And, not now that maybe the fever has broken.
Yes.
Chris.
Yeah.
It's the perfect way to say that. I told you I was stealing that and I meant it.
Good.
I want to be saying that to all my guys. I'm not going to give you credit.
It's all good. Fever is broken. Troy, thanks for being here with us. We got to wrap up. You'll be back soon. We'll come up with like a topic and just talk about that topic for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Like workshop ideas. Let's do it on an upcoming Hollywood on the Rocks on a Wednesday. I gotta go. I got a meeting. So, I know. It's like I have a job outside this YouTube stuff. So but let's chat soon. Love you, brother. Appreciate you coming on. BoondocksSaints.com. Get the book in audio form. And check it out. Talk to you soon, man.
All right, guys. Thank you. I always love being on here. You were the ones to break my cherry.
Well, you'll be back.
Yeah. Now
I'll
we're
be
just
very
going to start fucking for real every now and then.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Take care.
Crystal one does.
See
All
ya.
right, brother.